Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on where you are in the world. This is Audrey Lloyd returning with Dr. Sandi Webster for another edition of Primer Chats. And as you know, Primer Chats is designed to prime you essentially for success. For today's episode, we have something really great, and it's entitled How Coaches and Advisory Boards Can Accelerate Your Takeoff to the Next Level. So let me bring in Dr. Webster to talk a little bit. I hope you're prepared. I hope I'm not going to embarrass you by asking you, Sandi, would you please show the cover of the magazine and tell a little bit about it? Because I'm not sure people know the history of Sandi.
Oh.
So it's Money Magazine.
Yeah.
And the title is Getting Rich in America, Make Your Future in a Changing World. And there is Dr. Webster, depending on if you're looking right to left. And then here is the middle section, Getting Rich in America. So I love this. I saw this on LinkedIn. And I mean, how old is this? When did this come out?
2007, I believe. And the reason why I put it up on social media was I did not know for the longest time, even when I shot this cover, even after when I shot this cover, I did not know this was the first time any woman was on the cover of Money Magazine. I didn't know that. And I was wondering why these people who were dressing us, they were fussing. They were so excited to see a woman. And I kept thinking, my God, is this how they treat all the models like when they come in? But they were taking extra care. I remember they changed my outfit like several times, wanting to get it right. They never had to do that because they just throw on a shirt and a black pants, right? And so it was a big fuss. And they're like, we're so nice to see you ladies. And it was two of us and two diverse women at that, right? And I remember it was all day. The shooting started at 7 a.m. And this picture that you see here was taken at 7:00 at night.
Wow.
It was the last picture because we were so tired and disgusted of them pushing it. I'm like, I could never be a model. This sucks.
They were waiting for that ideal shot, and I love it because you see the happiness and the joy. And I guess they wanted to show what getting rich in America actually looks like, right? A lot of people jumping up.
But I think that the title also is kind of misleading because it was really showing the steps that we took and where we are in our companies right now, how we were growing our companies at that time. And so the fact that it says getting rich in America doesn't mean we were rich, because the American mindset is once you make $1 million, that you're rich. And you could make $1 million and owe $2 million. You have nothing. You're in the hole, right?
Right. So you were on the path.
You're on the path to making your business bigger, larger, so that you get paid. I mean, I think it's $50,000. The average small business owner in America makes $50,000 a year.
Yeah. Right. So this is great, Sandi, but this is also a great segue to something I wanted to kind of put in there. I know we saw the cover of, you guys jumping up and you're happy, but I got to say that for a lot of small business owners, it's a lonely path, and no one's coming to save us, right?
You have to save yourself.
Yes. You have to save yourself. And I'm wondering if you can just kind of tee up for us, because you walked that path, right? You were able to sell your business, and for your own definition of success, you would say that you were successful, yes?
Yes, I would. And the way that I came to that path started out in my teens. In my teens, I had a babysitting business, and I didn't realize it grew into a little bit bigger than a babysitting business. This was really a daycare. And my neighbor's the person who took me under his wing and helped me from accounting to getting other people to help me put a menu together. He helped me form my advisory board, is really what he did. These are expert people who knew their jobs, knew the particular business I was in, which is childcare, and knew what I needed to do to make money and to not get myself sued, right? When you're dealing with kids.
Wow. So how did you extrapolate what you learned there? How did that help you with, may I say the name of your former business? Is that okay? Or I'll leave it to you to talk a little bit about it.
You can.
Consultants to Go, which I love the name of it, right?
So my Little Flowers was my daycare, my babysitting, right? And once I realized how my board or the people around me helped me, I took that forward with me. I did it in corporate. I would have my mentors, I'd have them come to dinner together to talk about what I'm doing. And that helped me. I was forming my own personal advisory board at that time. So advisory boards, the thing that can really help you propel yourself to the next level, whether it's your business or individual, can be for anyone. It's not just big corporations. Every person can have their own advisory board.
That's fantastic, Sandy. And, I have to say that truly you are a trailblazer, whether or not Money Magazine had you on the cover or not. You are, big respect to you. But I wanted to, for the folks that are listening, delineate a little bit, because the lead-in that we had is about how coaches and advisory boards can help accelerate Takeoff to the next level. So can we talk just a little bit about the difference between, right, coaching and advisory board membership, I guess you would say, or how would you say, is membership, is that the right word?
Well, you're a member of an advisory board. So it's not a paid or not, you become a member of the board.
Okay.
So the difference is coaching is usually at one person dispersing advice to either one person, or like in a mastermind group, you're dispersing it to many people, but you're the main conduit of that advice, you as a solo person. An advisory board is really putting a bunch of coaches, there are a bunch of coaches, a bunch of experts in particular fields together in a room. So you're getting, one is one-to-one and one is one-to-many, right? The advisory board is one CEO to many people advising him. And putting them in the same room, you can come to consensus quite easily. You can rebut someone's suggestion quite easily. And when you leave there, the outcome should be you're all on the same page to help the business owner.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love that you have delineated that there are different modalities of coaching, right? So there is coaching where I almost call it like coaching consulting, right?
Consulting.
I love that. I love that fusion, right, of coach and consulting. But yeah, there is that modality where the coach is the expert, and I'm a consultant and coach. So it's natural for you to go into consulting mode to give solutions to problems, right? But then there's also that coactive coaching, which I do a lot of as well, because I'm a big believer in it's so easy to give people solutions. And if it was that easy, well, why isn't everyone successful? It's because there's a gap between the solution and the action. And in the middle is what people have to figure out for themselves, right? And so that coactive takes them through the journey of what is the block? What is the issue? What is actually standing in the way, right? So I think it's important for people to know that there are those two, but there are other forms of coaching as well, which you just said.
I absolutely have a whole different perspective on coaching. I used to think coaches were very frou-frou people, that hippie kind of, I have a coach, until I got one when I was in corporate. And it really helped. From then, when I started my business, I also resisted coaching because I found I knew a lot more than some of the people who were coaching me. And so I kind of put coaching as a whole mindset that you have to get into. When I was part of Make Mine a Million, and they assigned us a coach as a win for the package. And that was my first introduction into business coaching. And that is someone who's there to stimulate your thought processes, to get you going. Now, that kind of coaching, they ask you the questions. They don't answer the questions for you. They ask you the questions and they stimulate an answer. I personally found that sometimes I just needed someone to give me the answer instead of taking 2 weeks to help me flush it out. Someone could say, these are the options. And that's what my coach consulting is about. I give you the options. Right? I've already been down this road. So I already know you have only 4 options or 5 options. So I can say, hey, these are the options. Go investigate and pick one and come back to me. But I don't want you to take 2 years to investigate all 5 and Google all 5. So there is a marriage between consulting and coaching at some point. I've helped my customers. They say they want a strategic plan, but they've never done one.
Yes.
They've never done one. So I could coach you to go get a strategic plan, but if you've not done one and you need someone to do it, I can help you do it. You're still going to be having the input, but I'll walk you through it and say, this is a sample strategic plan. Let's get it done. Right?
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Sandy, because you're right. There are different modalities, and sometimes we get wrapped up in the semantics, right? Do we call it what you're just describing, for example, is that coaching? Is that an advisory board? Is that thought partnering? All of those things, right? And I think it depends on, to your point, with a small business, sometimes there's technical things that people need to know and do. Like, you and I have talked a lot about
execute.
Right. Right. So in terms of like, how do I develop my business plan? That's more of a technical, right, thing that you need to do this, this, and this. Here's the framework. But then there's the adaptive things of, okay, now you have your plan, your strategy, but I don't think I can do it. That's more of the adaptive change of how do you get through that? That's where the coactive coaching would come in. And then, as you were saying, also the thought partnering around strategy, solution. So I think it's you make a good point that you can bring in what you need, right? But I just want for the people who are listening who maybe aren't familiar with these two things, coaching and advisory board, to understand that there are options and they have to pick the options that's best for them.
There are always options in whatever you do. We just have to understand what the options are. In an advisory board, you bring people on for skill, right? You might be missing a certain skill set that you don't have on your team and you need that, or a certain expertise as a business owner I don't have. For example, my business partner, Peggy, and we never did sales. We worked in a large corporation, they have salespeople at the wazoo. We were in marketing. We make it nice and pretty, and somebody else goes out and sells it, to simplify. But we never went out and did the selling ourselves. Now we are small business owners going in to try to sell to corporations. It's not a skill we have. It's very hard to open that door. So on our advisory board, we made sure we had someone with that skill set of training salespeople, of telling you what you need to do, selling to corporate, right? We brought those people who did it onto our board so they can download that knowledge to us. That's how you use your board. If I needed an HR person, I would go get someone who ran big corporate HR to be on my board, because they can tell me, you need technology to do this, Sandy. You need this. You need a VP of HR. to do this.
And Sandy, that's great. I mean, one, you have the wisdom and the expertise and the credibility because you have run a multi-million-dollar business and was very successful in doing that, right? So you have that credibility, which is wonderful. But in addition to that, I think herein lies the theme of our talk today, the accelerant. So when you're talking about the HR person or the salesperson, they're shaving years off of the time that it might take for you to glean and to get and to take hold of that insight to move your business forward. So you're saying you're bringing those individuals to the table, right? To
That's exactly what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Because if you don't know it, you should go get someone who knows that. And you can get them for free. You can ask someone to be on your board, which a lot of business owners are afraid to do. They say, I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone why would they want to be on my business, a board in my business? Why would someone want to give me advice for free? They block themselves.
Yeah.
There's so many people out there. I'm a big proponent of using retired executives to be on my board because they know a lot. Once they retire, they have nothing to do.
And they have a lot to give. Because they want to give. They want to download their knowledge and expertise. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. You know, they can only play golf so many hours per day. And they will come and sit and say, hey, I grew this company to so-and-so, you can follow this path. They can pick up the phone for you and call somebody that you never would even have thought about calling.
It's so smart and savvy. I have to say, seriously, Sandy, I mean, I think that's really great. But I was going to say something that slipped my mind, but I was going to say, can we get a little bit deeper in terms of what an advisory board, what is the process? We heard you say all of these different functional individuals that are coming together. Oh, and I just remembered what I was going to say, and then I'm going to ask you the question. So can I put a pin in the question for a minute? Because, you know, we had an interesting conversation before the show, right? Where we talked about our experience with senior executive leaders, and that not everyone gets to peer in the room. Not everyone gets to be in the room or to be the fly on the wall. But what do senior executives do? Right? They are functional people that come together and think very strategically and are very solutions oriented, but they weigh and depend very heavily on each other. They are advising each other. They're asking questions of each other. They're bringing information and data. And the strategic planning meeting is about the collective mind meld of who is in the room. So if we can appreciate that for a Fortune 500 company, we can appreciate that for our small business. We have access to do the same thing, right? That's really what you're painting.
To go out. This is, and so back to, you know, how do you start this? Because you have to want to accept advice as a business owner. I've heard business owners say, I don't want anyone coming in and telling me what to do with my business. That's why I have a business.
Mindset.
I've heard that more than you would know because you wanted autonomy. But that's not what an advisory board is. They don't tell you what to do. You don't have to take their advice. These are the people you pick to give you advice. Have I said no to some of the things my board want? Of course. Maybe I wasn't ready. I wasn't mentally ready. I'll give you a quick example. Peggy and I were on billing ourselves for the first couple of years. And we would run home at night. We were working in corporate till like 10 at night. And then by the time we got home, it was 11. That's when we started running our business at 11 at night. We had to do billing, invoicing. We had to do our marketing. We had to reach out to people at that time of night, you know, sending emails. And our board kept saying, you have got to get off billing. We're like, but we bring in the most money. Like, if we get off billing, how are we going to do this? And they're like, you cannot grow your business while working in the business. And people say that all the time, and it's so true. You have to work on your business. But we were working in it. We had no time. And it took us about three 3 years before we actually got off billing, and one of us came off billing. We had to clone ourselves, pretty much find someone with a similar skill set or a complementary skill set that you can now present to the client, right? Because now you're going to be pushing paper for the rest of your life. You're going to be sitting behind a desk making the decisions. You're not the functional person anymore. So that's the first thing, is to create the profile of the person that you want on your board. Do I want sales? Do I want HR? Do I need a lawyer? Do I need someone with small business background? Do I need diverse people?
Yes.
Which is one of the best things you could do, is put a diverse person on your board. But that's a whole other segue.
Many diverse people on your board, but that's a different, I think that might be a kind of chat in the future. What do you think, Sandy?
No, definitely. Boards, it's been proven that boards are more successful, whether board of directors or advisory boards, when you have different perspectives.
Yeah.
And that's what diversity gives you. Diversity in gender, in age, in ethnicity. All of those things bring a much richer perspective to a business owner.
And ideas and innovation.
Absolutely.
To a business owner. No, I love that. And I'm all over that. So I need to stop, because then I'm going to get too excited about it. But yeah, so you answered, actually in that answer, you told us about the process, and also I'm hearing also what the structure looks like, because you're saying functional expertise as you need it. By that we mean finance, HR, right? All of that stuff, marketing, sales, operation.
Maybe what you need is someone who's not from the industry that you're in, right? Maybe you need someone from an industry that grows and is similar to yours. For example, financial services is extremely similar to telecom, right? You can take one marketing person from financial services and place them in a telecom company seamlessly. But when we were looking at our boards, we came from financial service. We want financial services, financials. There's no diversity there until we got someone who was in telecom, and we're like, oh my God, we could do telecom as a client because it's so similar. It's using the same people, but it didn't really fully come to us until someone was on our board from that industry. Says, you could just pick this up and go right over here.
That's so great, right? And yeah, absolutely. But also you know that different industries are ahead, right, of others. So
and so if you want to move into insurance, which is also similar, you get someone from your insurance board. They know the rules and regulations. It's a much more regulated industry. And so you get someone who can kind of guide you through procurement and all the back end processes of a corporation that you need to get into.
No, it's great, because you're right. Being a small business owner is really a 360 job, right? You have to complete the circle, but you don't have to go it alone. Advisory boards, coaches can help you accelerate your path, right?
And Audrey, I think you can have a coach and an advisory board. It's not mutually exclusive. Right? Some people have a coach for very particular things. I had a coach. I wanted some free time. I wanted my coach. This was my coach's job, Bill Dewey. Thank you very much. It was my job to free myself up and just get some free time, because I'm running all day and all night. And I remember I said, I would just like to watch Oprah Winfrey's show. This is back in the day when Oprah was on. And to me, Oprah came on at 4:30 in the day. I'm working. There's no way I'm going to catch Oprah. And I remember my coach said, Sandy, Oprah comes on 3 times a day. If you don't catch it at 4:30, record it and, make your little time for yourself to watch Oprah. Like, it's 1 power. You can do that. And every day I want you to come back and tell me what Oprah said last night. But it kind of forced me to just get some downtime, personal time. And that's what my coach was for. And that helped my business.
No, that's great. And what you're dialing up is what so many people get to experience, that to think something, but to hear yourself talk it out loud, to talk it through, and for someone to hold you accountable is a different thing. That's the difference. Because you can have in your head, I want to watch Oprah. But until you start saying, you know what, I really want to watch Oprah, and here are the steps and the actions that I need to take. And someone's going to say, Sandi, did you watch Oprah yesterday? What was the segment?
Exactly.
What did you learn?
Exactly.
Right. No, that's great. That's great. So I think we're winding down, Sandi, but we talked a little bit about the process, right? But we didn't talk on the, individual level in terms of how do you match, whether it's a coach or advisory board, to you. You know what I mean? In terms of values, being on the same page, that individual needing to be your cheerleader. Can you talk a little bit more about that experience?
You should not have anyone advising you if they don't fully understand your business and are not all in for you, right? And if you have a business that has a culture, your advisory board needs to understand the culture of your company and participate in that culture of your company. Because you don't want someone whose idea is way left of what you're thinking of doing. You want someone in sync with your thought process, right? Mm-hmm. If you like to do charity work, you don't want someone saying you're giving away money. You want someone to figure out how to support that charity work while you're making more money, right? If you have, let me see if I could find a good example of advisory boards. If you're looking to grow your company, and we were looking to grow from financial services into telecom, we got those people from financial services and telecom on our board, but we had to be specific in our ask. What is it that we need from you? How can you help us? This is how we can help you. I need someone who's able to identify the person that I'm going to sell to in that company. Or if you don't know, you know somebody who you can pick up the phone and call. Very specific. I think when you have a board and you're not specific about what they want, just a lack of purpose for the board is one of the biggest reasons why a board failed. Lack of communication. You didn't tell them all the things they needed to know to make their decision, right? Ineffective leadership. You didn't tell them why you want it, how you want it, by when you want it. And so your board meetings are not effective.
So you're touching upon something that's really important in business and in life, is that you, the person in the seat, you have to know what you want.
You're driving the car.
You're driving the car.
You're going to hit the brakes. You're going to put your turning signal on. You're going to get an accident if you don't put your turning signal. Like this ship is not even a car. No matter how small it is, it's more like a ship that you're steering, right?
It's a ship, but when you said car, I see the person driving the car and I see the advisory board in the back. Yeah, okay, do this. Okay, what about this? What about that? Right? And then shotgun on the right, there's somebody, right? But you are the one that's driving the car. Yes. The controls are in your hands, right?
And you can pull over and let somebody out when you want to.
You can, but also I think the people in the back, the advisory board, you want them to be truth tellers. So if you are driving crazy, hopefully someone's going to say, may I give you the advice or may I give you the observation? You are driving crazy.
And I have to receive it. I need to be able to be an owner that receives that. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm not driving crazy and you keep driving. Why do you have a board if you're not going to listen to them? You're going to listen, you're going to sieve out the advice and go with the one that's best suited for you, but you have to listen. It makes
Yes.
no sense to get people to waste their time, and you're not going to listen to them. It's not effective.
No, absolutely. And I just want to say it again, because elevate it, because it's so important. So it's not in the order we discussed it, but one, you are in the driver's seat. You have to make the decisions and you have to know what you want. You have to have board members, individuals, coaches, coaches, plural, right? Who are rooting for you. But at the same time, these people have to be truth tellers too, right? To be able to tell you reality, the truth, and what they see, their perspective. And you have to be someone who is open and coachable. You can say no, but you have to have the wherewithal to think, it's not about me just being autonomous, doing whatever I want to do. Is to be open to get the advice and to apply the advice strategically as it makes sense.
You
Yep.
can say no with a reason. This is a no, but this is why. Even if, I would like to try my way first. And if it doesn't work, then I'll be happy to go with your suggestion, right? You can make it a no very nice. Instead of, no, I don't want to do that. You can just be open and said, let me try this. If it doesn't work, I'll come back and try that.
That's great, Sandi. That is so great. So just in the wrap up, anything else you want to add before we kind of tell them how they can reach us or connect with us?
Hey, before we go, would like to hear your side, Audrey, of coaching and how you coach, the styles you use to coach.
Well, I think I said at the top of the hour that there are different types of coaching, whether it's consulting. So I'm a consultant. I have I'm going to just leave it at 20 years within the change and business transformation area, working on mergers and acquisition and culture, change management, working, hand in hand with leadership on so many big transformations. I have that and I love that. That is my passion. I will do that all day, all night. And if they want advice, they want strategy, I'm all over strategy, brainstorm. I'm also a writer, so I'm very, very prolific writer, very good at writer. So I can provide that. That's in the advice realm. But I'm also trained as a coactive coach, which is really around, I go with you. You are the one that shapes the agenda. I might get curious and ask you a question, but I follow you. This is about you. It's not about me. I'm going to give you the observation. If you don't say, to your point, that you don't want to do something, I let it go. No problem. We just keep going, because the mission is to get you where you need to be. And hopefully that is either next level or some kind of expansion, but whether it's in life, career, or academia. That's what I do. Yes, absolutely. And also I offer in the area of thought partnering, which is a little bit different than consulting. That's more of the brainstorming, the collective thought that melds together to take things also from a content standpoint, from a thought standpoint, an idea standpoint to the next level. So there's a lot of dualities that are there. But at the end of the day, I see myself really as a partner, to individuals. And I think that's really my claim to fame. That's my strong suite that I bring to any relationship. And thanks for the question, but that's what I offer. But I think everything that you have said earlier today, Sandi, has been so enlightening. I have learned, I don't know if you saw me making some notes, but I definitely had some takeaways. And I think the biggest one that I had here is, and I don't want the business owners or for even the individuals who are listening to lose sight of this, what you said is that, you had to learn working on the business and working in the business is two different things. Different things. And so you have to work on the business. And I think that is true in business and that is true in life. We can't get so lost in the minutia, right? That we're not coming up higher to say, what are we doing here, right? What are we doing to move things forward?
And that's what your coaching and that's what your advisory boards are for, is to help you with the strategic planning of the company, not the tactical execution of things for the company. They're operating at a different level, right? On you, the business owner, and on the business, not the little employee segment. All the things they do that are departmental is to help the bigger company make it bigger and better.
Great. Well, this has been a great conversation, Sandi, and not It's not about you and I, right? I'm thinking that people are
Yes.
out there listening, whether it's at their kitchen table or they're lounging on their couch, or maybe they're outside, or maybe they're on a plane, who knows, but they are listening and getting some value from how to prime themselves for success. So I'll just lead with how you can reach me. I think the best way to reach me is I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me at Audrey D. Lloyd. So that's Audrey D. and then Lloyd, like Lloyd's of London, LLOYD. Send me a link, DM me, and I would love to hear from you. Please, Sandi.
Yes. For me, it's also on LinkedIn, Sandi Webster, Sandi Webster. And you can go to my website as well, Sandi Webster. I have a course, this How to Form Your Advisory Board, that you can get on the website. And if you need other customized services for advisory board, if you want to manage your board or do other things, you can reach me at sandy@sandiwebster.com.
Excellent. It's been wonderful, Sandi, and hope to see everyone again.
Yes,
Bye.
next month. Bye.